Alright, what up YouTube? This is the Slow Rider, and I'm on my way to get some food here. But today we're going to be talking about a little bit about my ZX6R and how it got stolen. As you could see on some of my videos that I wrote, I had a ZX6R. So let's get into it. So however, it was actually my very first 600cc Super Sport. It is not a 636. And pardon me if I say some words pretty weird, because it's hard to talk with the helmet on when the helmet is clenching your cheeks together. So which makes me say some words pretty funny. But anyways, so my ZX6R, I'll just say I'll just call it the Ninja since it's a lot easier. It was a 2011, and I happened to purchase it a week after I crashed, as you can see from my previous video. But yeah, I ended up getting the my Ninja after the crash. And you're all probably thinking that's a stupid idea. He needs to sell his bike and not ride. No, I was just being a total dumbass when I crashed. I know I knew better, but thankfully I never crashed my Ninja for my time being when I had it. But I got it off of Facebook Marketplace, got a good deal on it. It was Marketplace showed $6,500. We talked it down to $6,400, and had a great time with it throughout. I got it last year, was it April of 2024, and I had it through only one riding season last summer until it got stolen in the fall. But I had a great time with it. I was very cautious with it. Even though I did some felony speeds on it a few times, but I was very, very, very careful. And I was kind of learning how to do a wheelie on it, but I had a great time. The bike meant a lot to me. The only issue I had with that ZX6R with the Ninja when I was riding was the stator gave out on me. And how that happened was I was pulling up to the parking lot, and then the bike just stalled unexpectedly in a weird time. So I couldn't start the bike. Only way I had to start it was either jump start or push start. But anyways, me and my buddy had a little project going on to install the stator on the bike, which was the pain because we had to take off all the fairings and all the good stuff. The project took about like 2 days, and I was about to take it to the dealership to have it replaced, but the cost on that, the grand total, was $900, which is ridiculous. So then me and my buddy decided to do it, and I paid my buddy I don't know what kind of, some liquor drink. It was like I can't remember what was the name of a scotch, or it was like a scotch of some sort, but I got him a bottle of liquor in return for helping me out. And we got the bike back to work again, and enjoy my time being on the Ninja until it got stolen, which was around October of last year. And let's talk about how that got stolen. So with all my bikes, and at that time I have two bikes. I still have my CF Moto 650 NK, which is my beginner bike. I still ride that. That is my good boy bike. But all my bikes, I lock everything, meaning that I had a disc brake lock. I cover it up, and I also installed a GPS tracker on them. Unfortunately, when my Ninja got stolen, it did not help me find my bike, but it did help me with the insurance claim. But anyways, how my Ninja got stolen was, yeah, I was out of town for work at previously my job. I was required to travel. So I'm always out of town for work, and I always leave my bike outside on a parking lot in my apartment. So then it was late night, and I was just staying up late in my hotel room, and I was in Fort Worth that time. And I noticed that I had a notification on my GPS of a ping on my Ninja saying that there has been a movement. I was like, okay, not a big deal. Not a big deal. It happens every now and then. It's just some sort of like a glitch of some sort. It will sometimes move like at least 10 feet at the most from its current location. It'll just bounce back around. That has to be like a glitch of some sort. But anyways, nope, that was not the case. It ended up moving out of my parking lot onto the street. Eventually I ended up being on a highway or an interstate. So what I did was like, this is not right. So then I called my my local PD back home to check if my bike was there, and he did, and he said it was not there. And I told him that I had a GPS ping of its location. I think it's like pinged every like second or so, or every time I open up the app. So then he was like, alright, let us know when the ping has stopped. I was like, no. I mean, I get it, it's probably going to waste resource if they start just chasing the ping, because there'll be a wild goose chase to them. But to me, I feel like that's, you know, it's going to be too late, because they're going to already take out the GPS, and some of these thieves, they can be really smart too when it comes to stuff like this. So I live just outside Detroit, like northwest of Detroit, and the GPS ended up going down the interstate, heading southbound, and the last ping showed that it was in Toledo, Ohio, and that's like a 45 minutes to an hour drive down there. So then what happened was the last ping was where, actually, backtrack a bit, I'm kind of jumbling off my words, but the last ping was where they disconnected the GPS. So then I contacted PD again and say, hey, this is where my last ping was. So then, I was about to say, God, I can't even talk right now. So then, yeah, they just like, I just filed a police report through them, and then what I ended up doing was, and this was in the middle of the night, by the way, about like 3 in the morning-ish. So what I ended up doing was I called the local PD in Toledo and see if my bike was there, and they checked out that location and it was not there. Anyways, following the next morning, I told my co-workers that I was not fit to do my duties just because this and that, and then because that bike meant a lot to me. So then he contacted the headquarters, and then they just decided to send me back home to get that situated in the following morning. And then I was heading to the airport, and I got to the airport. While I was at the airport, I contacted the insurance company to file a claim, and then I had to give them everything. They asked me like questions for 30 minutes, give them exact details about the situation, like have I been riding in groups, any like modifications to the bike, how often I ride, etc. So I did all that good stuff while I was at the airport, and then I flew back home. And then actually while I was at the airport, backtrack again, I followed the Toledo biker group on Facebook just to see if anyone has seen the bike, and one person DM'd me, and he said that he was fed up with bikes being stolen. I gave him the location where the bike was last pinged, and he went there and he said he couldn't find anything. And I believe there was a second person that was involved too. Can't remember, but anyways, it was like the same answer, no bike. And then eventually I got on the plane, went back home, flew back home, and I decided to drive down there myself right away for like 45 minutes to see if my bike was there. My bike was not there, but the area I was in, it was really ghetto, super ghetto. Everything was all run down and all that stuff. So no bike there. Then went back home, and I can't talk. And I let everyone know, my motorcycle club, through Discord, that my bike got stolen. And then one of the dudes there, we ended up being best friends afterwards. But he said that he's willing, him and along with another dude, was willing to drive down to Toledo to see if my bike was there. They did. Same answer, no bike. And they said the same thing. It was so sketchy as shit down there, and they don't want to like go into the neighbor's backyard and stuff like that. And so, yep, no, same answer, no bike. And I'll just pause right here to tell you what the result was after all that mess, as I just arrived to get some food. Alright, we are back. But anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, to the final result. After my going back to where I was talking about, I can't think about what we're talking about beforehand. Oh yeah, that's right. So a couple of guys, myself and a couple of my buddies, came down to Toledo to check out, to see if my bike was there, and same answer, no bike. So then a week later, my insurance company, my insurance contacted me, and it was claimed as total loss. Oh, that's a cute dog. And what ended up happening was I ended up getting the check for it, and luckily the check was about the same amount as what I purchased with my Ninja. So then I used that check to get my next bike, which is my Gixxer GSXR 600. I was looking for another ZX6R, but there wasn't any of them that was nearby around the Detroit area, and the closest one I could find at a dealership was like 4 hours away, which was just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. I love doing that. every time I ride these super sports. You gotta rip it, man. You'll love it. Ooh, we got a brother. But anyways, I was looking for another ZX6R, and the closest one was 4 hours away, and just outside of Cleveland for a dealership. Otherwise I looked at Facebook Marketplace, but there are like old clapped out ZX6Rs. So then eventually I just I was trying to find another Super Sport at the nearest dealership from where I live, so that's where I ended up finding my Gixxer 600 here. And the MSRP for that at my dealership was like $9,300, but the average MSRP for, and this was a 2024 by the way, the Gixxer, and the average was like I'm gonna say hi to this brother here. Looks like he doesn't want to talk, but anyways, typical brother. But anyways, why isn't anybody going? It's freaking green, people. Why isn't anybody going? But anyways, MSRP at the very least for the 2024 Gixxer 600 was at least 11.3K, but at the dealership was like $9,300. I was like, you know what, that sounds like a slamming deal. I mean, given it is a Gixxer. Ooh, we got another Super Sport here. Anyways, a lot of interruption. Now I lost track of where I was at. But anyways, the out the door cost was like 10.3K, and I am against financing a toy. But however, I'd say it was a bang for a buck for a Gixxer, even though Gixxer really doesn't, there's not much on a Gixxer, but hey, a super bike's a bike, super sport's super sport, and I don't mind having all these tech savvy equipment on my bike, such as wheelie control and all that. I don't mind not having that at all. Just ride the bike, ride it like, do it the old school way. I'm kind of like that. So even like practicing wheelies, do it the old school way, or doing wheelies, do it the old school way. So only thing that bothered me about this Gixxer was the halogen headlights. So then I ended up switching it to the LED bulbs, and it looked really nice. I might switch it up to the halo headlights, but they're like $400. And the very first thing I did when I got my Gixxer was I don't know if you can see it, but I changed out the exhaust. It was just a slip-on. I just only put on the slip-on, which is the M4 GP I got on eBay. I literally ordered that once I purchased my bike, and it sounded really nice for a slip-on. Decently loud. It's not obnoxiously loud, but it's decently loud. So that's how I got my Gixxer. But anyways, going back to my my Ninja, I really love that bike. It had the fairings was really nice. It had a two brother exhaust, and as well as an LED underglow, which I could care less about that. But it did came with the remote where you can change the color of the underglow, and it has it, and you can have it where it can flash as well, different colors. Oh man. Oh my gosh. I wonder if this is... I love riding a Super Sport. But yeah, that's pretty much how my that's pretty much the whole story about my ZX6R, how it got stolen, and how I ended up getting a Gixxer as well. So hopefully not as an exciting video, but hopefully you get something out of it, because anyone can steal a bike, whether you try hard or not to prevent that happening. Somebody's out there is going to try to steal your bike. I had a GPS unit installed on my bike, and they still ended up stealing it, and my bike was never recovered. So that's pretty much the moral of this video here. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more in the upcoming future. And have a great rest of your day.